What is up, brewskis? We are here yet again to the One Reel In podcast. This is Adam Obesis Rodriguez with, as always, Marco Dupa.
What's up?
The illustrious co-host with the most.
Glad to be here.
Glad
to be here physically.
You've already said enough. We're here to continue an illustrious series that we began long ago. Oscar contenders, right? That's what we're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do Oscar contenders. When award season comes around, we like to hop on those and we look at it with a critical eye.
Right.
I'd say.
So an early contender, I'd say.
Yeah.
We're starting the year off right.
Agreed.
We have Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Zack Snyder's, Netflix's Army of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a movie.
Yeah, I mean, it can be defined as a movie. Defined as a movie. It was feature length.
Yeah.
It had actors.
It sure did, yeah.
Directing.
Yeah.
I put that in two asterisks.
Uh-huh.
Directing.
Yeah, yeah.
Writing.
Right.
It was filmed.
It was.
Edited.
Yeah.
Distributed.
Uh-huh. People saw it.
A lot of people saw it.
We saw it.
A lot of people saw this movie. According to Netflix's numbers, they did gangbusters with this. So, and, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but pretty critically acclaimed movie. Like, considering his track record, it's
not his lowest rated movie.
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna pull up the Rotten Tomatoes on this baby, just because it is, obviously super important.
Mm-hmm.
So for Army of the Dead, we're looking at. Oh, I have an ad blocker up.
Boo.
Pull it up for me. I'm not going to disable for them. I'm just not going to.
I wouldn't have you.
I have personal convictions, and I'm not going to disable my ad blocker. I'm sorry, Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, fuck them.
Yeah.
Now we got to disable our ad blockers for everything.
I'm not going to do it.
They don't get enough
revenue.
Not ad revenue. Hold on, give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
68%. It's still sitting at a 68%, 5.9% on IMDb, and a 57% Metacritic score.
Okay.
So, by all accounts, a decent to average movie.
Is it though?
Do you agree with that statement?
Is it though?
I would just like to say, and I said this to you when I watched it, 68% is just incredibly generous.
We will get into exactly why we think that. I don't want you guys at home to think that this is just going to be an hour of us ragging on this movie. If you like it, I'm happy for you. Just so you know ahead of time, Zack Snyder goons. We're not against Zack Snyder as a concept.
Not against Zack Snyder. We're not against Black Superman as a concept.
Definitely not. Good job. But we, there's some issues with the movie.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of the issues. Anyway, shall we start with a synopsis of the film?
Please do.
Of the film.
If you're not one of the 74 million people, is what they reported to have watched it in the first week. If you're not one of those people, here you go.
Right. Spoilers.
I think that's a given, but we should always announce it.
Spoilers.
Right there.
Spoilers. Well, obviously the star of the show is Dave Bautista. And let me tell you right now, I remembered nobody's name in this movie. Not a single person.
I remember his and his only because of the French dude, the safecracker, goes, Scott Ward.
Okay.
That's the only reason I remember that name.
His name is Scott Ward. Of course, he is the quintessential ex-military commando guy who's now down on his luck.
Yeah.
We get via flashbacks that he has a tragic past, of course, where he had to kill his wife who was infected by this zombie disease that was started by Marco. Please explain how the zombie thing began. I saw you tweeting about it.
Oh, Adam. Oh, I almost turned it off. This movie starts with.
It made me more excited.
Really?
It did.
It angered me. I was so like, how am I supposed to? Here's the thing. I didn't know how I was supposed to feel about it. Mm-hmm. Is it tongue in cheek? Is it really? It's dick and mouth. Is it dick and mouth? Is it so obviously bad as to wink at the audience like, of course this is how it would start, something stupid like this? Or is it just written so poorly and that's why I'm angry? I still don't know how to feel. Mm-hmm. This military caravan is moving just outside of Nevada. They're moving cargo, precious cargo, which for some reason no one knows what's in it.
Right.
Which, okay, sure. Your response is, well, it's classified.
It's hinted at that they came from Area 51.
Right.
So
yes.
Super top secret. We don't know what this thing is.
Fine.
It could be aliens.
Fine. All of that is fine.
Yep.
They don't need to know what's in it. You know what they do need to know, though? How fucking dangerous it is if it's opened. What if one of the dudes got curious? What if they had, I don't know, a car accident, which is exactly what they have because some dude is getting a blowjob and he's going the opposite way. And let me just say another thing. There's a little bit of TMI.
Okay.
But I've gotten roadhead before.
Oh.
Okay. I'm sorry to the parents and to the children who watch this show. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But it's just the truth. I just have to speak my truth.
We're here to normalize sex, Marco.
Right.
There's no judgment here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And not once have I laid my head back and just let the car careen off to the oncoming lane. Military caravan.
No one's that good. I'm just gonna.
No one's
that good. No one's that good.
So of course it careens, hits head on.
Explodes like there's TNT in the car.
Destroys half of the caravan for somehow everyone's dead except for like two guys. The thing slides off. The thing that was housing this thing, which we don't know yet.
Yeah. A lot of things going on here.
It just comes apart. This thing that was supposed to be top secret, locked up, supposed to get to wherever they were going, some military base off of Area 51 for some reason, just opens up, spits out a zombie.
Yeah.
Zombie goes hog wild as it would do. You know what? Another thing that really angered me when he radios in and he's like, "We just got into an accident. How's the payload? Payload's compromised. You and your team need to get the fuck out of there." That's what she says to him. She doesn't say, "All right, listen to me carefully. You guys need to pack up and get out of there." At first she does. She's like, "You guys need to go. You need to go." And he's like, "I'm sorry, what?" And he's like, "You need to get the fuck out of there. You and your team get the fuck out." This is a guy who's in the military.
Right.
Your contact for this top secret mission, you don't even know what's in the thing. Your contact is telling you, not, "Sir, you need to get away from the thing. Get the fuck out." And what does he do?
Hold
on a moment.
Hey, they said we're to go.
We need to get out of here, guys. Let's
wrap it up.
Let's pack it up. Let's get out of here. And then, of course, the zombie, rips them to shreds.
Yeah.
The two dudes get away, or they think they get away. They run, I don't know, 30 paces away, and they're laughing.
Yeah.
They just saw a monster destroy half their team, and they're laughing.
Yeah.
He catches up to them. He murders them,
of course,
obviously.
Of course.
And then they make their way to Vegas. And that's how the outbreak starts.
Right.
Oh! I wanted a special mention to the glorious, gory ways. Whoever imagined these zombie kills, kudos to them. The guy getting his jaw just ripped off his face.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, Just
You see, and we'll get back to this, but I was really hoping that this was setting the entire like language of what this movie would be moving forward. If it was just
which was goofy,
gory, dumb in a good way, fun.
Yeah.
Which I would have loved to have seen. Anyway, fast forward, we're now in this post-zombie world where it's been contained just to Vegas, right? It's just all the zombies are trapped within the walls of Vegas.
Which, now that having seen the trailer and then having seen the movie, makes a lot more sense because the trailers made it seem like there was a zombie outbreak, and then this is like 15 years after the outbreak,
right?
And now people are scrounging civilization together, and they're not. There's an entire civilization.
Oh, no, everything is fine. It's
all
just,
we lost was one city,
right? It's contained within Vegas. So yeah, interesting idea, I guess. But now. This is where you're going to have to help me fill in some of the blanks because I may have just bad movie amnesia. I don't remember why there's like an encampment around Vegas that they're like forcing people into labor.
So they're not forced into labor. What they are is people who have been suspected to have been infected because the science is still out on, okay, how does it present itself in humans? And... it becomes this whole political thing where they're, liberals are saying that they are basically POWs and they need to be let out of there.
And there are volunteers coming in to help too.
Yeah. So that's what that is. It's an encampment just outside of people who
survived Vegas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So basically, nobody's infected in the encampment area,
right?
But they're just being held there because the government
to be
wants
observed.
to be safe. And yeah.
So that's the sort of the state of Vegas. It's completely it's the zombies land now.
Yes.
Different movie, Zombieland. Better movie. So essentially our hero is presented with an opportunity to make a huge score of money that is locked in a safe in Vegas. Of course, it's going to be dangerous. He'll have to find his own way in there, assemble a crew.
Yeah.
The typical heist movie type.
Yes. All
ideas.
the hallmarks of a good heist movie.
Right.
Assemble your crew.
Exactly. So that's what happens.
Which, by the way, I will say there's flashes of a good movie in this, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit. But there's flashes of good movies in this, and you know me, this is right up my alley, or it screamed right up my alley.
Yeah.
And turned out to not be, but some of the flashes of it, like assembling the team, the big score.
Yeah.
You've got good team members. You've got the safecracker. You've got, the gung ho guy. You've got the leader of the team. You've got the pilot, the quintessential like beautiful woman who's also a badass. Like you've got a good team here.
Yeah.
Stereotypical and cliched,
but it works for a reason.
But exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But that's exactly what happens. They assemble the crew. I should say too, the entire encampment thing is a completely obvious, hammered approach to some kind of political symbolism and
the whole it's very very
border
kids in cages. Am I right? Am I right, guys?
Right. So it's all that.
Every statement he tries to make in this is very like, right, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Ham fist.
I mean, the president.
Yeah.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was kind of funny.
It was funny. It was funny. It was pretty funny. Yeah, the president is completely reckless. Decides to nuke
and he's like,
Vegas.
He wanted to do it on the 4th of July, and he's advised not to, and he was like,
he pushes it for today.
He reportedly thought it would be really cool. I was like, all right, okay. That's funny.
I'm in.
Funny. So yeah.
They assemble the crew. They're able to find somebody who can get them in a coyote. Again, more charged language.
Yes,
with the border.
Yeah.
So
she's not a coyote though. She's the
coyote.
Yeah. As if she's the only one.
Right.
And that word was made up for her.
That's it. She's the coyote.
The coyote.
With the team is, of course, somebody who's representing the company who got them to do the job to begin with. Yeah. So the entire time you're like, he's not a good guy. You know he's not a good guy.
No.
And it's going to all come crashing down because of him.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. Anyway, they get in. We find out that the zombies actually have almost like a society going on.
Yeah.
And for anyone who thinks this is kind of an original idea, it's not really. It's kind of going along the ways that George Romero's zombies went eventually with like Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
And what was one after that with John Leguizamo?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That one was actually pretty decent too.
I went to the theaters and saw it, and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see. But anywho,
yeah. So that's not even an original idea to have them have a society and have kind of devolved and re-evolved, I guess you could say.
To have some semblance of brains, you know.
Is it Land?
Yeah, it's Land of the Dead.
Yeah.
Land of the Dead, 2005.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah, I liked it, at least at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's like almost like a kingdom involved where there's a queen and a king of the dead.
The king is the original zombie.
Yeah, the patient zero
Yeah.
of this entire thing who went out and killed all the soldiers.
Yeah. Well, we don't know where this guy came from.
Right.
Like you said, it's heavily implied that he came from Area 51. But I saw an Easter egg that apparently, even though Zack Snyder said this movie and his Dawn of the Dead aren't connected, they are connected. There's an Easter egg where Tig Notaro's character is looking at her phone, and there's a news blurb that says, "04 Milwaukee zombie outbreak, new details explained." So apparently, we are living in a time frame where that shit that happened in Dawn of the Dead did happen. It was contained. We were able to restart society. That happened in 04 when the movie came out.
Right.
And then apparently they contained it, and then we were able to get back to a semblance of like a normal society, which kind of explains why everyone kind of treats the zombies as if they've kind of been there
normal.
Before.
Yeah.
Everyone just says the word zombie, and everyone just kind of treats it like, zombies.
Yeah.
We all know. You shoot them in the head, you break the brain, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
everyone kind of is very matter of fact about it. Like the way that they are in The Walking Dead later seasons where it just becomes part of the landscape of the land. It's like, oh yeah, they're walkers over there. Blah, blah, blah.
The entire generation that was born after the outbreak.
Yes, they all it's
grew up knowing zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. Because when I first watched the movie, I was mad that they did treat it so matter of fact. That they were like that. You have the one outbreak, and now everyone's just like acting like.
Well, the thing is, you can still be mad about that because I am.
Okay.
Because if they wanted to make that point that linked those movies and made sense in a canonical way, they should have done it.
You're right. It should have been obvious
in a more outright way.
Yeah.
And then it would have explained it
more. A character
more.
should have just mentioned it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just offhand, a character just goes, "Yeah, that shit that happened in Milwaukee, it happened again in Vegas," and boom, we get it now. We're in. It makes sense. Now, all of that wraps up why everybody's treating this the way that they're treating it. So
genuinely, I'm surprised they didn't do that because the way that movies work nowadays, why not make like an of the dead universe of Zack Snyder movies?
Yeah, definitely.
It tees it up for a sequel after that.
Oh, you can tell Zack Snyder does this thing where in every movie that he makes, he's like, I'm going to plant little things just in case the studio gives me money to do this again. Every fucking movie, he's got to be the most optimistic filmmaker in the history of cinema. Like, he's just so like, they said they were going to give us money.
We'll see.
I
want Green Lantern. We'll see what happens.
Somebody said that they would do it, and we're going to do it. I don't know.
Aim for the stars and land with Martian Manhunter.
And no matter what gets thrown his way, he just keeps pushes
going
forward, man.
He keeps going.
You got to respect it. You got to
listen,
respect
honestly, with the press run that he's been on these past like year and a half, I have nothing but love and respect and admiration for Zack Snyder.
Yes. As a person, yes.
As a guy who just gets stuff done, my hat is off. I find him super entertaining.
Yeah.
Super cool. I want him to keep making movies and being successful.
Yeah.
The problem is, as we've sort of hinted at, where the movie goes from here once they've gotten into this invaded Vegas, it's absolutely, completely, like, by the numbers, I'd almost say boring.
Yeah.
Zombie action movie.
I mean, it's infuriating how quickly it devolves into just every movie you've ever seen ever that has zombies or dead in the name. It's infuriating.
There are and like you said, there are hints at really cool ideas planted within it that could have been good in another circumstance. But like probably the coolest scene for me in the entire movie was them sneaking around when the zombies are hibernating or whatever.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, I love that. I thought that was really creepy, really cool visuals, and like it felt scary.
Yes.
The only time in that movie I felt like on edge watching it was that. The rest of it is essentially a big shoot 'em up.
Yeah. Well, and so yeah, and that's partly where my issues start with this movie, is that scene, because it is done so well. And then the one girl who's with Guzman, I do remember his name for some reason because they say it a lot.
Yeah.
The girl who's with Guzman, she apparently is the only person who picks up on her, and Tig Notaro are the only people who pick up on the fact that the guy who's with the company is obviously there to double cross
them. Yeah.
She's the only one who picks up on that.
Yeah.
And of course, she's at the back of the line with him. And of course, he takes this moment to double cross her. Why are they so spread out that he had enough time to throw the glow stick? No one notices, including her or the person ahead of him.
That made no sense to me either.
Zero sense.
The spatial awareness of where people are in this scene is completely off.
It makes no sense.
Because they're like in a conga line at first.
Yeah.
And then suddenly these two are off like 15 feet.
Yeah.
And to the point, like, let's use like Horror Nights statistics for this. Like, they're like 3 groups ahead.
Yes.
To the point you can't see them anymore.
Yes. Enough that whatever's going on behind them, the screaming, the knives, the gunshots, they're like, what's going on back there?
Keep it down.
These zombies are sleeping.
Yeah.
And that's the moment he takes the double crosser. He throws the glow stick like a mile away.
Yeah.
I don't even know how she was able to find it after. And I guess I should explain that as they're going through the hibernating zombies, that's the way that they decided to. They cleared a path. They didn't want to touch them.
Right.
So they're dropping glow sticks so everyone knows where to go.
Yeah.
Which, to your point, if that's the case, everyone should be holding on to each other, shoulder to shoulder, right? That's how military guys do it. One guy's ahead, he's taking point. The other guy taps the other guy on the shoulder to let them know, I'm here, I'm ready to move, I'm right behind you, right? That's what you, in your military training.
As a military expert, yes, right. Obviously.
And even if that's not the case, even if all that is bullshit and it's just in the movies, this is the movies.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, it doesn't matter what is real per se. We were talking to Travis, remember? I asked him, so what's the deal with like making sure things are Travis Stuntman, obviously.
Shout out.
Yeah. Check out the episode if you haven't. What's the deal with like making sure things are like moves and you know, your form and all that stuff is legit, like to real fighting in martial arts? And he said, not at all.
Yeah.
It needs to look good.
Yeah.
And like that's the point, is like it needs to translate to film.
Yeah.
So even if that's not necessarily how things are done for real, that's how we know it to be.
Yeah.
So that's how you assume, especially somebody that's leading this team is a mercenary, the ex-military gigantic man.
Yeah.
You figure he told them we're going to do it this way.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So it's not done that way.
No.
And for some reason, of course, conveniently, these two characters end up far away from each other because one already suspects the other of foul play, and she meets her end.
See, and that's
it's so boring.
It's exactly.
It's boring.
It's just so like. Of course, they end up at the back. Of course, he double crosses her. The only surprising thing was that she made it out. Now, when she makes it out, I got out of my seat. I was like, dope. So she's gonna survive. They're gonna jack this guy. No, she just dies
a little bit later.
Yeah, instead of dying off screen, she gets her cute little sacrificial death. And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I didn't need that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know her. So when she dies like that, you know what it does to me?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
Same. I would say, again, talking about emotional aspects of this movie, obviously there's an entire B plot about Ward and his daughter.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't want her to come with them.
Yeah.
She comes anyway.
Yep.
There's some contention there because she had to see him kill the wife in front of her. Obviously traumatic, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
We don't know these characters really, though, at this point.
No.
Like I like Ward because he's Batista.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's an action guy, and I like him for that. The entire plot about him trying to rekindle the relationship that he had with his daughter sucks.
Also, seen it.
Yes.
How many times do we need to see this?
Again, anytime it would go to that, trying to make me feel anything, I went,
I feel nothing for these two.
I've got nothing. I've got nothing for you. I'm sorry.
Nothing.
Anywho's, so they continue with their plan to find the money.
Oh, before we even move on, Guzman, there's that moment where she dies. No, right before she dies, it's just the white dude comes back.
Yeah.
And he's like, where's whatever her face is? And he's like, I don't know. She was right behind me. And he was like, bullshit. You guys were together. I don't believe you. And then she busts out of the wall with all the zombies and shit. And then she sacrifices her, blah, 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 right? And then you know what they do about that?
Nothing.
Not
a thing.
They just drop that whole subplot.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was it.
There's no tension.
They're just outside walking together. I was fully expecting once they got outside of that underground area that they would look and they would see, they'd be on the outside, and then the scene would cut to Guzman going, "What the fuck, bro?" and fighting the guy. Then we find out that he's double crossing us or something, and then they feed him to the zombie or something. Some kind of tension needed to happen there. Instead, they just go, "Guess she's dead now."
Yeah.
And then they just move on.
We'll move on. It's fine.
And then there's no mention of it.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Making way for him to double cross them later.
Yet again.
And then everyone go, I can't believe he's done this.
He locked it. He locked the door again.
I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this.
This is so stupid. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. So anyway, I'll keep it brief because I really want to get to more of our criticisms because that's the fun part.
So we kind of go through the movie and then we should say some nice things about it.
Okay.
Because I feel like we got about 45 minutes of criticism.
Hey, I said the zombies hibernating was a really cool visual, cool scene.
You did say a good thing.
Probably my favorite scene of the entire movie.
Yes, you did. Yep, you did.
I said it nice. You
did. You said it nice.
I said it nice.
You said it nice.
Yes. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So, let's see. At this point, they're
out, and now they're moving on to the actual hotel because they had to go under.
Right.
They had to go underground.
They already fed a security guard who was a rapist.
Right. That was the very beginning.
Queen that allowed them to have passage into.
Yeah, we skipped that. That's pretty important.
Yeah.
Because that establishes that they have a society or a kingdom or
a monarchy of some kind. Yeah.
So and it's sacrifice rapists to.
Yes. And it seems like the king of this entire thing, the original zombie, has like a power to make more zombies, right?
Well, not just
fast zombies.
Yeah, he has a power to create the
Smart.
Dawn of the Dead zombies
Yes.
instead of the
Night
of the Living Dead zombies.
Right.
Night of the Living Dead zombies are just like, that's just fodder.
Shamblers.
He's shamblers. That's what they call them. He is creating an army of the dead.
Ah.
And so, yes, they feed the rapist to him, and he assesses the guy, and he says, military training. I can use this guy.
Yeah.
Bites him gently.
Yeah. Just a
Just a little. Just a little taste. Just licks him on the ear. Yeah, you like that?
I don't think it worked.
Hold on, I'm gonna take him in the back. I'm gonna keep working on this. Okay, so they've made it.
Yes.
We're in the hotel now, right? We've got most of the team.
Another subplot that's completely useless. The daughter's friend is also
right
in there.
That is only serviced in the end of the movie to get us where we get to.
Right.
Because otherwise, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for what transpires to transpire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just doesn't make any sense. What? Why doesn't the king just kill them? What is he saving them for?
Now, I actually looked this up, and it turns out he wants to make babies with them.
Ew.
Now, here's the thing. For a second there, I thought maybe that's what he was keeping them for. Because there's yet another subplot in which the zombie queen is hinted at having a baby.
Not
right?
hinted at.
Well, early on, it's hinted at.
Right.
He
okay.
touches her belly.
Yeah, and they all cheer and shit.
Right. So it's hinted at early. We find out later that she does have a baby. A little zombie blue baby.
Little zombie blue baby.
Yeah, a little Smurf. And
little blue baby.
they never explain, though, explicitly that the reason why he's keeping those women is also to
breed
with, to make a zombie human hybrid or something. I
Right.
don't really understand. Because, again, like, if the queen zombie was already pregnant, there'd be no need for
keeping these,
live women, because he's not doing, like, in vitro fertilization with them. Like, he's not taking their eggs in order to put them in the zombie queen. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. That's all I'm trying to say. Ooh. But I looked it up, actually, because that was something that kind of stuck in my mind. I was like, what was that about?
Yeah.
And it turned out in an interview, Zack Snyder was like, yeah, we have like a rape theme with our king zombie, and it's really gross and really weird.
Okay, but it's just not explicit enough.
It's not. It's not. And if you're going to do that, you have to go further than that to explain why that's the case.
They don't need to be raped.
No.
But we just need a little explanation as to what he's doing.
For us to at least like give us some visual storytelling to let us know that that's what he intends to do.
Yeah.
You know, like
grab one and go behind closed doors, and then she comes out like she's not dead. Like later on you find her and she's like disheveled and beaten but not dead, and you're like, "Oh, he raped her. He didn't bite her. He raped her."
I mean, even if not, just to know, like, to show. Okay, let's do some Monday morning filmmaking.
Let's
here.
workshop this.
What if? Because I agree with you. I think that unfortunately, rape is used too much as a as a crutch. Yes, as a crutch in cinema and in TV for shock value. So don't even have it go all that way. I think even if they just show him like frustrated at like the queen zombie not being pregnant or something, you know,
or if he does anything like sexual with them, like if he licks one of them or something, just something that implies that he's not saving them for dinner, that he's saving them to impregnate them. Just something that implies there is a sexual theme going on, and not just that, like, this is fourth meal.
Right. Right. That's what it came off as too, is like, if you don't catch like it's not even really that hinted at. Just like that idea. If you don't think of that idea being a thing,
right? If your brain doesn't go in that direction,
it's like,
you're just never gonna.
He's just saving them to eat later.
To eat later. Or you don't even have to imply anything with those women. Imply have carcasses thrown against the wall or something of women who he had captured before, who weren't able to keep the baby, and kind of imply that they weren't bitten, they were killed out of his frustration, right? Something that says that he's not going to eat them later, because all that we know about zombies is that they want to eat humans, right? So going off of your own knowledge of the tropes, that's the first thing that your mind's going to leap to, unless you're like a freak and you're like, well, maybe he wants to fuck him. If somebody was sitting next to me and was like, he gonna fuck them, I'd be like, dog, what's wrong with you? Why did your brain go there? No shame, because he would have been right.
Yeah.
But still, my brain was like, he's saving them to eat later. I didn't even think that he was using them as geishas. Like he's gonna come back for them later.
What about this? What if the king zombie treated them really nice instead?
Yeah.
And they knew in the back of their heads he's intending on this.
Yeah.
And it's just his reptile brain trying to make sense of being romantic in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, all of these weird things that animals do in the animal kingdom to show a potential mate that they're ready to get busy, fluming their feathers, doing weird dances, anything. So as a human, he would try to be nice, but he's also a monster, right? So, yeah, that would be cool. He sets them up in a room and he's gentle with them. Doesn't know how else to be to let them know that that's what he wants to do. Instead, he grabs the one girl by her hair and slams her against the wall. He almost murders that girl.
What if I'm writing this movie.
Yeah.
What if
really going in on this part?
What if they ended up being Stockholm syndrome?
Oh no, Adam.
And really wanted they started a human cult for the zombie army.
Okay.
And it became almost vampiric because these zombies are starting to get smart enough that they can actually communicate and stuff.
Right.
So what if it becomes this thing of this entire cult of humans that want to be zombies, but want to be the smart zombies, the fast smart zombies, and can only be bitten by this guy to do it. So they're
because they're technically immortal after that, right? Yeah.
Right. So maybe there's a death immortality cult. That brews from this, and then the daughter gets double crossed by these girls who she thought she was saving.
Okay.
But actually are indoctrinated into this zombie army.
But that's an entirely different movie, which I would love to watch. That's Army of the Dead 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
They spend. By the way, this is a 2.5 hour movie.
It's too long.
It's way too long.
It's too long.
And yet it feels like it goes a mile a minute.
Yeah.
It feels super rushed. And it's so long. Zack Snyder has this innate ability to make things feel like they're lasting forever and also feel like a fucking cocaine trip where you're like, what just happened?
Yeah. There's a lot.
It moves at a pace that is so fast because it's the way that it's written. Things happen and then characters just move on.
Yeah.
And so we don't take any time to feel or explore what just happened. The characters don't take any time to explore those things. We just move on.
Yeah.
And so that gives you this feeling that there is we're in a rush, which we are, right?
Yeah.
There is a time frame because they're about to nuke the city.
Right. Which gets pushed up.
So they had 96 hours to operate. Now they have an hour and a half. Again, not really, just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I know that we're trying to make sense of things that don't make sense, but this in particular, they're working on a time frame of 4 days, and then he moves it up to an hour and a half.
They have the rest of their day to finish it.
There's no way they were prepared for that.
No. No.
prepared for 4 days to operate.
And then Tig Notaro's having issues with the helicopter.
She can't get it. I mean, it's on fire at some moments.
Yeah.
And then she's able to, spoiler alert, get it in the air somehow. We're going to talk about Tig Notaro, by the way. We're going to talk about
Sure we are. Okay. So anyway, look, I don't want to harp on this plot line much longer.
Sure.
Because there's not much to it. Watch the movie if you really want to know all the details. Essentially, here's the deal. They find the safe that they have to get into. The safe cracker does his thing. After I also like that scene too, where they distract the zombie to go through the
super fun.
Yeah,
so much fun.
The booby traps.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Those guys have a lot of good chemistry.
Yes,
they were fun together.
Agreed. So they finally start working on the safe. We find out that the time's been pushed up. So suddenly there's this renewed urgency.
Yeah.
Eventually they're able to get into the safe. Remind me, what's going on the other side of the plot while this is happening?
Okay, so while they're cracking the safe, at this point, the Coyote and White Devil, who's going to double cross them. I'm just going to call him White Devil because that's the trope he is, just the white guy who's bad in the movie.
Right.
They have made it back up to the surface. They have lured the queen. They have chopped her head off.
Right.
And White Devil says, "Do you know how much money this is worth? It's worth way more than what's in that vault. Why do you think we're here?" And the audience is supposed to go,
"Oh my God!"
But anybody with half a brain that has been eaten by zombies goes, "Well, duh,
right.
That's why they're there."
Who's seen Aliens?
Right. Like, of course, that's why they're there.
Yeah.
Either he's there to, he's 1,000% there to double cross them. That's easily established by anybody. Even a fucking 4-year-old knows that.
Yeah.
So he's either there to take the money and kill them, or he's there to take a zombie. I mean, I was talking with my family about this, and I was like, that wasn't like super clear to you guys. Like, that was obvious that that's what he was gonna do.
Yeah.
No fucking shit. And the reason that it was super obvious is because the Japanese guy, the guy who sets up the bankroll of the job,
right?
He when Batista's character finally contacts him and says that he's ready to go, he's in his house with like 4 military dudes.
Right.
So that is obviously Zack Snyder going, "There's a lot more going on than you think." And it's like, no, there isn't, because everything I think is what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen the movie before, sir.
I've seen a movie. I've seen your movies.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. So that's the subplot that's happening at the same time as them getting the money out of the vault.
Right.
So then they finally get the money, but at this point, the king knows that his queen is dead and his baby's dead.
Right.
And he sends everybody after them. So that's that's why they get ambushed in the vault. They should have been able to just get out of there, but they got ambushed.
Yeah.
Because homeboy took the head.
Yep.
And then the Coyote replaces the head with some, like a money counter or a box or something. I don't know. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a money counter, which I don't know why they would need a money counter when there's $50 million in that vault. What are they going to do? Sit there with that mini money counter and just...
I think it's symbolism.
Yeah. So, at this point, they get ambushed. A couple of people die. Oh, we've got to talk about the way that the love interest gets killed. Oh,
yes,
my goodness.
Yes, they're all running. It wasn't to an elevator. It was away from an elevator, right?
No, this was before. This is as the elevator opens up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Immediately. We have a little touching moment of what's his nuts.
Yeah. So we get a
Scott Ward.
We get a second for Scott Ward to finally feel something, anything. His wife, he had to kill his own wife with a knife through her head.
Yep. And his daughter hates him for it.
And he's got to live with this knowledge. And then you find out that his partner in this, she has loved him from the jump because of course she has.
Of course.
And she finally professes her love. And he's like, I thought I fucked that up. And it's like, oh, so you were into her too, and you guys just never spoke about it. And Anyway, I'm not going to diagnose all of their other problems in their relationship. But we finally, so it seems like, oh, that's cute. That's nice. That's a good thing. He's finally got something going on. Elevator opens up. Zombies are in the elevator. They grab her head and twist it all the way around.
And then she goes, God. And just blood comes out. She's still like
she
smiling.
Falls to the ground. And then she has one single tear come out of her twisted head. And Batista is just like, what? I mean, what the fuck? I mean, I genuinely reacted when that happened. I was like, what? That is wild.
That's my point. I wish this movie was just really good. Zombie kills.
Yeah, it just needed to be more
fun.
of that. Because here's the thing. The problem with that is, like, that zombie kill was awesome. And that scene is hilariously just inappropriate. The problem is it's just followed by, like, or I guess preceded by such an easy trope of, like, oh, we're going to have this tender moment and then something's going to happen in one of them.
Right, of course.
Right? Either Batista was going to have to sacrifice himself or she was going to die. It was so painfully obvious. And the problem with Zack Snyder's movies and with his writing is that he comes up to the precipice of something that is so painfully obvious. And instead of going this way to subvert our expectations, he goes, no,
we're going to do it.
going.
Yeah, let's keep doing that.
But dude, you are smart enough and clever enough to understand that you're playing with tropes.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and I don't want to insult his intelligence or his artistic ability because there seems to be a semblance of that in all the things that he does. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, he just cannot bring himself to subvert any of the things any of the tropes that he uses in these movies. I just don't understand it. They're so clear and obvious, and
I think he's a man who almost has too much respect for myth. And I think he ends up oversimplifying his stories because of it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is him kind of resting on cliches because he feels like, I mean, I said this just earlier in this conversation, that cliches work for a reason. But I feel like he does it to a point where it becomes overused and boring. To the point of being boring. It's no longer satisfying to have those things happen because you call them every time. We need a little bit of surprise. You need to shake it up a little bit.
Well, the cliches that work, for instance, were the heist cliches, the zombie cliches. Those things worked, and they make an interesting foundation for your movie. Now you have a full sandbox to play around with. You don't have to kill the people who we know are going to die. You don't have to have the people survive who we know are going to survive. Yep. You don't have to have them die in the way that we know they're going to die. Like the white dude who double crosses them. The minute he mentioned that thing about the tiger, I was like, "Oh, he's going to get killed by the tiger." Right. I said it. As soon as he's like,
"There's a zombie tiger."
As soon as he says it, I'm like, "Oh, he's getting killed by the tiger." There's no doubt. He's dying by the tiger,
and he did.
And you can call that foreshadowing. I call it bullshit. It's just lazy. Yeah. It's lazy.
It's too obvious.
It's way too obvious.
It's too obvious.
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I saw something. Somebody said, I was listening to the Rewatchables, and they were talking about how foreshadowing is a device that in a lesser filmmaker's hands is it's bad. It's not used well enough. Yeah. You see it all the time in these movies where you're like, wow, that was really, really obvious. Foreshadowing is done in a way that, like, once a thing happens, you go, oh, they hinted at that in scene 1. Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't even pick up on that. Foreshadowing is not supposed to be, well, yeah, because he said the thing and then the thing happens. I hope a fucking building doesn't fall on my head. And then, like,
it shouldn't be formulaic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that where it's like he's right at the edge of doing something interesting. And then he goes, nah. That's the movie you were expecting, and that's the movie you're going to get.
Yep. We're good. Anyway, so the safecracker who's not experienced with guns, ends up being the hero in the scene, right?
Yeah, saves the black dude.
Yep, he saves him, pushes him into the vault.
Which I thought at first, I was like,
what's he gonna
that's
do?
That's not saving him.
Yeah, what's he gonna do?
Damned him to have to eat money until he has explosive diarrhea and dies in the safe.
And is exposed of radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he sacrifices himself in the heroic moment.
Yeah. Which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I thought he was a really good character. I thought they did really well with him. He was really funny. He was like obviously funny, like the comedic relief kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I thought at least like what he says is actually funny, and the way that he acts is he was good. He was good. Whoever that actor was,
Matthias Schweighöfer. He played Dieter.
I thought he was good.
Yeah, he was.
I liked him a lot.
And again, like you were saying, I think that trio of characters played well off of each other.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we're now off to the chase, right?
Yes.
The horde is coming after them. They're trying to make their way to the top of that hotel.
Yeah,
or
to get to
casino.
the helicopter.
Yeah, to get to the helicopter. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
So
the chopper.
Yeah, so they're all running around.
Yeah.
The double cross happens around this time, right?
Double cross happens like right after they've got the money and homegirl gets her fucking wig split.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the double cross happens. But they have homie's gigantic saw,
right,
that carves through an entire cinder block wall, and they make it out. So they get out of there. So the double cross was kind of pointless because nobody died because of the double cross. Someone should have died because of the double cross, but nobody dies.
Just the bad guy.
Just the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he makes it up to the surface and then dies immediately.
Yeah. Incredible.
This is so stupid.
Incredible.
He comes up, he looks at his bag, and he's like, oh, I don't have the... By the way, the other thing, I was like, why don't they use the head more? The head of the queen. They use it towards the end, but like he should have... I think they should have done more with that.
Speaking of myth, he could have used it like Medusa. You know? Pull it out.
Yeah, pull it out and... Like in The Mummy 2, The Mummy Returns,
Ugh.
the guy that gets
the only one who's going to get this reference.
Seriously, I am. But towards the end of the movie, the older dude, he finds the Scorpion King's bracelet after they have made it to the pyramid. You know what? I'm going in. I'm going to fucking do this. I'm doing this. So they get to the pyramid. And this was after, so they had 7 days to get to the pyramid, right?
Right.
The son, Rick and Evie's son, he has the bracelet on, right?
Yeah.
And he's showing them how to get there, blah, blah, blah. They're going there to fight the Scorpion King.
I hate that kid.
Yeah,
I hate that
just
kid.
Not good. He's just not good.
He's not a good kid. I'm sorry if you're listening, child actor.
Who's probably in his mid 30s, mid to late 30s. But yeah, fuck you.
He's not.
Nah, I'm kidding.
It's not good.
But he just wasn't. Yeah, he just didn't. He was fun. He was funny in moments, but there was just some stuff from like it's just not.
Kind of. He was like a liability sometimes and like whiny.
Sometimes, all the time, he was a complete liability.
Yeah,
absolute liability.
The worst kind of kids in movies.
Yes, all the time. You're like, oh.
Especially
why are they here?
Especially when I'm sorry, this is becoming the Mummy.
It's the Mummy Returns.
The Mummy Returns now. When it's the Mummy Returns now.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the Mummy Returns
when
back here.
We start the franchise with them not having this anchor weight of a child,
right?
And they're fun and they're exciting and they're sexy.
Yeah.
And then we suddenly have a kid that we're now just dragged down because you want more kids to go see your movie.
Yeah. And we have to deal with the groaning of this 8-year-old. Oh, mom, and like Rick and Evie, who again, they look even better than they did in the first one, and you're like, how are they sexier? This is crazy. Yeah. And there's no chemistry because they're parents now, and you're like, ugh. And the kid is exemplified. He's like the compass of your ugh, you know. It's like, no, I didn't need.
He's
this.
the arrow on the compass.
And he's just ugh, dad. So anyway, he gets there. Rick gets him there on time. Incredible scene. He runs at a breakneck pace. He dives into the pyramid as the sun is coming. Illuminating the shadows, and boom, right at the mouth of the entrance of the pyramid. He dives in, saves his son. The thing pops off. Then the old priest picks it up, puts it on his wrist, and for some reason the bugs won't kill him because he's wearing the bracelet. They don't explain that at all, but he just does this move. And to bring it back, Homeboy should have done that with the head. Like the zombies wouldn't kill him because he's got the head. He could have made it all the way out with the.
Yeah,
they just didn't do enough with that. Why didn't the coyote switch the head for the thing, right? So I thought that she was immediately going to pull the head out and use that to get them out of the vault.
Yeah.
But instead, it's kind of insulting to our intelligence because she pulls it out so much later as if we were going to forget about that, as if we didn't know that was going to happen.
It seemed more like they forgot about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, she can use the thing to get out of there.
She's got the head thing or whatever. Yeah. And then she doesn't even really. It doesn't do anything.
No.
She still dies.
Yeah.
Everything that was gonna happens just a little bit slower.
Yeah.
I do like when she dropped the head off the roof and it just like a moldy apple. Just
like jelly.
I love that. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Again, it's stuff where it's like, just do more of that. That goofy, tongue-in-cheek, like, this is really funny and kind of scary.
Yeah.
And there's some tension because you don't know who's going to die. I like this. I mean, it's kind of like his Dawn of the Dead.
Here's the thing. I think I went into this movie based on the intro of us seeing how the zombies were created in the first place, expecting something more like the Grindhouse movie. Not Death Proof, the other one, the zombie one. Planet Terror.
Yeah.
I was expecting something a little bit more on the same like style of Planet Terror, right? Because it's goofy, gross, dumb, but fun.
Yeah.
That's what they presented to me at first.
Yeah, that title sequence.
Yeah. And then
and the way that we get the zombies, the way that
and then it becomes so self-serious.
Yeah.
In the worst ways.
Yeah.
And predictable and boring. And there are flashes of that fun zombie movie that are in there.
Yeah.
But it always goes back to the same predictability that ruins everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, as you were saying, they are able to get out of get to the top.
Mm-hmm.
They find the girls who were kidnapped.
Yeah, and we don't even need to go into that because
two of them die.
Yeah, two of them dies. The mom survives.
Yeah.
The one that we cared about.
Right.
We find them because of course we do. And it doesn't even matter at the end because, well, everyone dies. But like the whole, this entire like 30 minutes where we have to go into the zombie den and find them, it's just wasted because all of the zombies have left, right? They've all left to ambush them in the vault, right? Mm-hmm. So that gives you a moment where they can find Homegirl. And then the most obvious of obvious things happens. The rapey guy is a super zombie. He comes back and he almost kills one of them. Oh, right. But then he doesn't. Which I'm like, then why did we do all of this?
Why bother?
If he's not going to bite the daughter or bite the mom or kill Batista, why did we do this? Yeah. Because he shows up, grabs the one girl, and then almost immediately gets shot in the face, and it's over.
He might as well have been killed in that first opening moment.
Yeah.
It made no difference.
Makes zero difference. The only thing that he established is that they have the ability to create super zombies and stupid zombies, shamblers.
Right.
That's all he's there to do is establish that that's a thing. And again, it goes back to Zack Snyder planting seeds for a sequel rather than write a good movie. Yeah. He's like working towards the future because if he was thinking about this movie, he would have given that guy more to do.
Yeah.
Instead, he's thinking about his 5 movies in the future. How can I turn this into a series? and he's establishing a thing that we're gonna revisit 2 movies or the next movie later, and it's like, no, dude, we need to focus on what the assignment.
Yeah, the first one.
Let's focus on this
Yeah.
first, because as it stands, that guy was useless.
Yeah.
Of course, he's a rapist. That's obvious. Of course, he's gonna get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Obvious. And then you turn him into a super zombie. We established that. I thought he was gonna kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it would have made kind of poetic sense for him to do that.
Yeah.
To be more of a danger than just a threat early on as a human and then nothing.
Yeah. As a zombie, he's kind of pointless.
He's like you said, dispatched like nothing.
Yeah. So okay, boom, that's done. Batista. Oh, by the way, this is another thing I had an issue with. I don't know the layout of Vegas, so excuse me if I'm like way off base here, but it seems that once they make it to the roof and they have to go back for his daughter, they take that helicopter really far.
Yeah.
And I don't know how she made it there on foot without getting murked.
Mm-hmm. She was in Reno.
And yeah, and she made it back to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to just throw that gauntlet out there. Like I said, I don't know the layout of Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know if like maybe she had to
Notaro
had to fly the helicopter around and get it back to the building that's next to them.
Maybe,
it
yeah.
looked like she had to fly pretty far
Yeah.
to get to the zombie nest.
Maybe she's like on the other end of the strip and had to go like all the way down the strip.
Right, and I'm just like, how did she do that on foot? I just don't know how she did it.
I don't know.
You know?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I just throw that out
It's
there.
hard to do
Just
that with
doesn't-
the living zombies that are there right now.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Fucking Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas, baby.
Okay, so they make it. They save the mom. They get back to the roof. Two of them die. Two people who, I mean, I don't even remember their faces. They could look
Yeah.
me right in the eyes, and I wouldn't know if they worked at Publix or if they were in a fucking multi-million-dollar movie.
I've never met you, ma'am. I can't say.
I'm sorry, I've never met this person.
Yeah.
They die.
Who
somehow.
cares?
I don't even remember.
Who cares?
Yeah. We
Yep.
make it to the roof.
They get to the roof, and then, of course, as they're boarding, guess who shows up?
King Dingaling.
King Dingaling. King Dingaling of the Zombie Brigade.
Uh-huh.
And so in order to save everyone, because he's a fast guy and pretty impervious to regular bullets, I guess, unless they just haven't been shooting him in the head. Oh, he put on that helmet.
He put
the helmet on. Yeah, smart. Okay. And so in order to save them, the coyote takes out the queen's head, which stops him. We have a bit of a standoff.
Yeah.
Everyone else boards the helicopter. They start to head off. Oh no, not even. They're waiting for her to make a move, and then the King Dingling throws his rod at her,
impales her
to the wall. She drops the queen's head. It explodes on the floor.
in just a glorious way.
It's beautiful.
Like just a bad tomato. It's awesome.
Beautiful. So anyway, the rest of the crew gets away as they're flying away.
Gets away.
Yes.
They don't get away because he impales her and then completely abandons his kingdom and dives into the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So we have a fight on the helicopter. Batista gets bitten.
Because of course he does.
Sure. Has to happen. There's a struggle. Notaro takes a bullet.
Yeah, takes a bullet.
Keeps control of the helicopter.
Somehow.
Eventually, it's his daughter who kills the king, right?
No, he kills him.
Okay.
Yeah, he finally gets a... She like distracts him. I think she hits him in the head or something. And then he turns around and Batista puts one right between the eyes.
I think hits him with like a fire extinguisher or something.
Yes, that's what happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Batista puts that final shot on him. Click, clack, blow.
Yep. And then we see the nuclear warhead coming in. It hits Vegas. Makes the helicopter crash. Tig Notaro's dead.
Yep. Obviously.
Scott Ward is still alive, but obviously going to become a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
He has this heart-to-heart with his daughter.
Yep.
They make amends.
Yep.
He turns into a zombie. She kills him.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night, Irene.
Then the movie's still not over.
No. And it's long from over.
Yes.
Like a long scene. This is a long stinger.
So the guy who was saved by the safe cracker that was put into the safe comes out into a nuclear wasteland.
Yeah.
Literally ground zero.
Yep.
Just gets out of there.
No radiation poisoning.
Fine.
No, he's
not worried about it. Doesn't have a mask on. Nothing.
barely has a shirt on, honestly.
Yeah. Yep. So he has the money. He's able to get away. He ends up buying a private jet. Where's he taking it to? I forget.
I don't think he says. He just gets a jet. I don't think he says the destination.
Okay. Well, he's taking it somewhere. And he's living it up, having champagne.
Yeah. And lobster.
And lobster, of course, because we love cliches.
Yep.
And he starts to feel a little weird.
A little woozy.
I feel a little woozy. He goes to the bathroom to reveal he was bitten.
He was bitten. How? No one knows. Because I thought back on that scene and I was like, I don't remember a moment where a zombie got close enough to him other than the big guy that he was fighting.
Yeah.
But that dude didn't bite him. He slapped him around, threw him around, but he didn't bite him.
And I think if we're going with the idea that this is the beginning of a continuation, we would need him to have been bitten by that king zombie,
right?
To be a smart zombie,
he
to
would just
infect
be a shambler.
other people, right?
Right.
Because if he's just a shambler, he's way less of a risk.
Yeah.
Than a smart.
I mean, even if he bites everybody on that plane, they're in the air, right? So if he bites the pilot crashes the plane. Maybe they don't get incinerated. There's no way all four of them walk out of that plane crash and just go ooh, ooh, to fucking Kansas,
right?
And then, by the time they make it to Kansas, like you said, if he is just a shambler and wasn't bitten by the super zombie, Zack Snyder has already clearly established that the military is prepared for this threat,
right?
And they will contain it almost immediately.
Yeah.
So as soon as somebody calls and says, "Yo,
we got more
zombies
that
happened in Vegas,"
they'll
just quarantine it off and contain it, and it'll be easy. As long as it's not one of the super zombies, they will contain it easily. So it doesn't really set up
even if it isn't.
Sequel.
Even if it isn't, they were able to do it in Vegas with a super zombie, two super zombies.
Yes, that's right. They
did.
They established. Yeah. And he was creating an army all the while they were going in there with these spec op teams and saving people.
Yeah.
And then they contained it. So even if he is a super zombie, if he's just one, I think the idea is he is the new king zombie.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't establish that he, like you said, they don't establish that he gets bit by the king zombie. So we're just going to go, he's the new king zombie because he's muscular and sexy. That's it. That's just really the only reason. And then that's how the movie ends.
Right.
Roll credits.
Finally.
He looks at his arm. He laughs at the cruel irony of Zack Snyder's writing. And then credits roll.
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
buddy. Should I grab the beers?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please do.
Keep going. I'll grab the beers. Oh, sorry.
So, I feel the need to say this, and Marco, you can chime in when you're back. But, I was a very big fan, and still am, of the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead remake. I think it's one of the best modern zombie movies, period.
Yep.
And that, unfortunately, gave me super high hopes for this movie. Maybe unfairly. I don't know. Say what you will. But the fact that there was so much potential in this movie, not only based on how good that movie is, the Dawn remake. But based on just the premise alone, it could have been this super fun heist film with the backdrop of zombies. It makes perfect sense. Yep. Thank you. But the fact that it turned into just this really dumb shoot 'em up movie is just super disappointing to me.
Absolutely.
Like it makes it that much harsher for me to of a pill to swallow. That this is how this movie ended up.
Yeah.
And I want to know your opinion in particular because you are the heist movie guy.
Yeah.
How did you feel as the heist movie guy going into this with the expectation of it being a heist movie and it not really even being a heist movie?
I mean, I can't even really explain the disappointment of like how quickly they abandon the heist element of it. I was thinking if you rework this movie, my idea is strip it of all its emotion. Mm-hmm. Fuck the husband-daughter bullshit. Fuck this, he was a Medal of Honor guy and now he's flipping burgers. Fuck that bullshit. Fuck that. Get that out the way.
I love the title Medal of Honor guy.
Medal of Honor guy. Fuck that. Fuck this love connection between him and the Hispanic chick that just kind of plumes out of thin air because they don't
and goes nowhere.
They have zero chemistry, so we have no idea that they're into each other.
Right. There's no like subtle like
there's literally no moment where they flirt with each other that establishes that there is any feeling between them until she says it in the end and gets her fucking neck cracked. Remove all of that, dude. Okay? You make just a motionless, like Ocean's 11 meets Dawn of the Dead. Mm-hmm. You strip it of all its emotions so that you don't have to deal with any of these stupid B plots.
Yeah.
And you just have a clever a zombie movie mixed with a heist film because the tension is already high in a heist film.
Sure.
It's inherently one of the biggest parts of heist movies is the tension of like, how are they going to do it? Are they going to make it out? Who's going to survive? Right. Are they going to get caught? Mm-hmm. Who's going to fuck up the plan? Is the plan even good enough? How much money's actually in the vault or whatever? All of that, right?
But getting caught in the stakes of it being a zombie outbreak is like...
Just raises the stakes to the heavens.
Yep.
It's already enough to have a good movie. It was enough. You didn't need all this other stuff. It was already enough.
Yeah.
He had enough material, and he went and fucked it up by adding all this other bullshit. It's like, Zack Snyder, I hate to be the one to tell it to you because I'm a talentless hack, but you cannot write emotion. He's just not good at it.
No, he's not good at it. He's just not good at it.
It just doesn't work. It doesn't translate. It never works.
No.
And every time I'm left going, what was I supposed to feel? Love? Disappointment? Anger? Like, what am I supposed to feel from these characters and how you write them? So yeah, as a person who, once I found out it was a heist film, it wasn't just Army of the Dead. It was a heist movie. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. How do you fuck that up? This is how. 2.5 hours. That's how. That's how you fuck that up.
So how do you feel about Tig Notaro as Marianne Peters?
Marianne Peters.
We had an off the mic conversation about this, so I want you to have the floor.
All right. I just want to say this, okay? Tig Notaro in this movie is passable. She does her job. And that's all you can really ask of that character, right? Mm-hmm. I have no issues with Tig Notaro being in this role.
Yeah.
I think she does, like I said, a passable job. She does enough that she's not distracting. There's nothing like if she was in the film, if take away all the controversy of like the Chris D'Elia stuff and like how she's in the movie, you take all that away and you still have her in this film. I think she works.
Yeah,
it works.
If people don't know, originally Chris D'Elia was supposed to have this role.
Yes,
they apparently filmed.
Principal photography was basically done.
Right,
and they had to go back and redo some of the interactions between Delia's character and the rest of the characters, and then the stuff that they couldn't bring them back for, she was basically just green screen in. So
They don't know this is a green screen.
oh, sorry, yeah. little inside baseball there. Wow, sorry about that. Inside the podcast studio.
I don't like that.
So you take all that away, and I think that she still does well enough that, I mean, I'm not distracted by the fact that I'm thinking about Chris D'Elia in that role. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
What I do take issue with is these articles and this praise that's being heaped on her as if she's done something that we've never seen before. As if this is something so mind-blowingly original that she is what you walk away from at the end going, you know, the movie, I can take it or leave it, but Tig Notaro was an absolute revelation. It's just not what happens.
It is not.
She does her job, and she does it well enough that she's not a distraction. But to say that she is... That Collider article that I shared, there's a Collider article that basically says that her role is this blockbuster character portrayal, and it's just not. She does... If you substituted her with literally any white male comedian, they would have done the exact same thing.
So you're saying she's taking the jobs of white male comedians.
And good for her. Good for her.
My only pushback to that is, in that case, it's fine then, right? Like, she did her job.
I take zero issue with her being in the movie. I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, they just put her in because Chris D'Elia was like talking to young girls and being weird. So we like put this, you know, this like beacon of like, I guess, sexual expression and like being free and like, you know, overcoming society's obstacles. And like, she's a person who represents that for a lot of people while also being incredibly talented at her craft. You bring her into the movie, and I do think that it is a political move. There is you cannot ignore the fact that there is some part of it that is a little bit motivated.
Well, do you think that in an optimistic way, the studio or Zack Snyder himself was looking at it as an opportunity to kind of right the ship in a way?
Yes, 1,000%. Yes, and I'll say this:
we haven't said this. But Tig Notaro is a lesbian comedian.
Yeah, I hope you guys know that.
If you guys don't know Tig Notaro, yes.
Yeah, and I do think that he took it as an opportunity to go, well, we could put. I mean, we already have a black guy, we have a couple of Hispanic people. Our star is half Filipino.
Yeah.
So we've gone really diverse. What's the next thing that we can do? Well, we could throw a woman in there. Well, we've got a couple of women. We could throw a lesbian in there. Who's a good lesbian actress who could really rock this role? That would be the first person. Tig Notaro would be the first person that I thought of.
Yeah.
Just objectively, I would have been like, Tig Notaro would be good in this role. So fine. I have zero issues with that. All I'm upset about is that like people just refuse to temper their expectations and their reactions to things because they want to be the first person to put out their little article where they're like, yeah, and it's like, dog, it's not necessary. I think Tig would tell you herself. It's like I went in, I did what I was asked to do. I did the role as well as anybody could.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't even blame Tig because it's not good writing.
Yeah.
So she is working with what she has in front of her. She is being told to basically do like, dog, you're lying to yourself if you know who Chris D'Elia is and you can't see him doing the exact same thing that she did.
Deadpan, saying goofy things.
Sarcastic.
Yeah.
In the article, part of his point was that the character's motivations were very clear. All she cared about was the money. She'd had no backstory to kind of give her this shitty person with a heart of gold kind of thing, and that is part of the originality of the character. And Tig brought something to that kind of like made that even more original. And it's like, but no.
Yeah.
Anybody could have done that. And to not have a backstory to that character doesn't make them more original. It doesn't make that trope more original.
Yeah. I think, see, for me, I remember when we were first talking, like, first reactions of this movie off mic, I brought her character up as a highlight of the movie. And I still think that. I don't think she's a good actor. But I did like the character. And I liked her because of that matter-of-factness, that bluntness, and that kind of deadpan nature to her.
Yeah.
And, on top of that, it's refreshing that we have a lesbian character who isn't a lesbian character.
Right.
Right. She's
just in the movie.
Just in the movie. Yeah. Like it has no bearing on her character. And
well, that's partly because it wasn't written for her. I think given Zack Snyder's track record, if he knew he was casting Tig,
it would have been more
some
ham-fisted.
Yeah.
I mean, that is maybe it was just a happy coincidence that she was written like a character as opposed to a lesbian trope.
Yeah.
But either way, that's what we ended up with, and I found her character pretty refreshing. And even though I still don't think Tig Notaro is a very good actor, I liked her in the role. You
know what? The highlight, in my opinion, of her performance is the moment where they're just starting out. They've just got into Vegas, and she's like, that guy's gonna double cross us, right? Like,
yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Her, like, that part I thought was incredible, and I thought, oh, that's hilarious. They're gonna play with that whole. Mm-hmm. This guy's a double cross. This guy's a this guy's a that. They're going to play with the tropes. And then the guy who I think is going to survive is not going to survive. Yeah. And the guy who, you know what I'm saying? I thought he was going to subvert our expectations because she was so self-aware of the fact that, like, this dude's a piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm saying it and I sound fucked up, but this guy sucks. And we should sacrifice him right now. Fuck him. That's basically what she says. Yeah. And I was like, that's tremendous. Yeah. I love that. But again, with everything that he does, he just doesn't go the whole nine with it.
I took that a different way. I took that as we would have some self-awareness in the movie, with and playing with those tropes and saying, like, we're gonna even if we go through the tropes as they stand, there's gonna be self-awareness and some parody with this, some humor played with it that. Told you he was going to do that.
Yeah, right.
Something like that.
Right. If she even had a moment where she said that.
Yeah. It
was like, I fucking told you guys.
Called it.
Like, funny.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
But
No,
because she's taken out of the movie, presumably because she's not really there. They have to just put her on the roof and then kind of forget about her.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to go through just... the daughter survives, obviously, because she has to. She's like the savior trope, and she has to. The ultimate sacrifice or the ultimate tragedy for her is losing both of her parents to this thing. So then, if they do make another movie, I wonder who's going to be the lead. I wonder who's going to be this battle-hardened soldier. Both of her parents have died because of this tragedy, and she's been training herself for the last 5 years.
Which I wouldn't necessarily mind if, I'm sorry, this character, maybe I'm blaming it on the character, not the actor, because I haven't seen her in anything else.
Yeah.
But if this character had any kind of unique qualities, some charm, anything other than just being the angry daughter.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, she's so...
It's bland. It's just like, I'm not excited to see anything else from this character.
Oh, there's moments where it's just like, I guess, nerdy incels are sending her messages on her socials, blaming her for the movie and stuff. Like,
why?
Well, you know how they are now. These fucking nerds, they watch a movie.
She's
and then,
pretty. I hate you.
Yeah, exactly. They watch a movie and they go, that thing actually happened, and now I'm going to find the actress and I'm going to fucking send her death threats because I don't think she's getting like serious messages yet, but I saw some shit on, I guess she made a TikTok where she's like, don't blame me for what happens in the movie. I didn't
Right.
I
didn't write it.
write the movie.
I'm an
just
actor.
actress. So but yeah, I mean, she just so clearly plays up the trope of being the angry daughter, and it's like she does things like going off after they have got the money, and then she dips it and goes off to find her friend in what is basically a war zone.
Yeah.
It just annoys me because it's like it's just so unrealistic. The things that even the small things that they had been through to get to that vault, the characters who've died, the zombies that they saw, it just, I don't know, man. Maybe I just don't know. I just don't encounter brave people like that in my life who would do that. I just don't see that happening. I just don't see someone breaking off from the group alone with a pistol and going, I got to find my friend. I'm going to run down the Vegas Strip where there's zombie tigers walking around.
Right.
And I'm going to find my friend. I just don't see it.
I've got 10 shots. That's more than enough.
That's all I need. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
But sure, fine. She makes it all the way to the nest without encountering one shambler.
She is the lone survivor of this entire story.
So Batista shouldn't have died.
No.
He just shouldn't have died.
No.
He didn't need to. There's nothing poetic about it. It's one of the most obvious things that happens in the movie. He gets bit in the neck. He has his moment with his daughter, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, no. You could have just had them both survive. And you know what that would have done? You know what it would have done, Zach? It would have subverted our expectations.
And in a weird way, it was almost like my expectations were subverted because I was expecting something. Like,
why?
Well, no,
An hour and a half into the movie, I'm like, oh, this is going to go exactly the way I think everything's going to go.
I was like, there's no way they can kill him off, right? There's no way. Like, after everything that this movie has put him through, the relationship building he's had with his daughter finally.
Yes. Yeah.
All
keep going.
For nothing?
For nothing.
We wasted 2.5 hours on these characters. For this one character that I don't care about.
Yeah.
To make it out.
Speak on it.
That's it. So the entire time I was going, okay, look, let's try to find a way to make this work, okay? Because he was like bit in the neck or something, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay.
I was having the same thoughts,
I was like,
dude.
okay, so they obviously can't like cut his shoulder off.
Yeah.
What if the radiation from the nuclear blast ends up being like the antidote to being bitten? Right.
Like, there's like an antidote on the plane just in case the white dude made it to the top by himself or something.
We find some way. The movie keeps going. It keeps going.
Yep.
He falls asleep.
Yep.
And I go, okay, well, I guess we're just going to have him die.
He's just dead.
And
Dude. Exactly what you said. You put this guy through hell. Absolute hell. And what does he get for his trouble? Dying and then having his daughter have to re-kill him?
Well, and then not only that, but like at least she could have gotten the money, like
right. She got pennies compared to what they robbed.
Yeah.
$50 million. And what does she get? 10 grand?
If that. She got a handful.
He pulls it out of his fucking drawers and he's like, I mean, this is all I could fit in there.
Right.
At what point did he shove that into his vest?
No idea.
And why? Because
just in case.
There was never a moment until they were in danger that they thought they were in danger.
Yeah.
So why did he shove that into his vest?
He's a sneaky fella.
So those zombies are his girlfriend or friend, wife, whatever. She gets her fucking neck split all the way around like an owl. And at that moment, he's like, well, before I get out of here,
I have to get a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yep.
You put this guy through hell. You kill him anyway. The daughter survives. The black dude survives where you go, dope.
Mm-hmm.
Black people don't survive in horror movies. So he survives. They're like, okay, fine. I'm okay with that. You know what I thought was going to happen? I thought he was taking that private jet to go to the Japanese dude. And I thought the movie was going to end with him putting a bullet in the Japanese dude. And I was like, let's go. Finally, some feel good in this movie. I'm going to get some reward for sitting through this.
Yep.
No.
Nope.
He's bit. Also, if someone bites you hard enough to break your flesh, that's not something that you just look over. That's not something that you forget about. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
He got bit in the tricep. You know how somebody pinches you in the tricep. You're like, dude, don't ever touch me ever again. That hurts so much. There is so much fat there. I'd never work out my triceps. Why would you do that? He got bit there, and he found out 12 hours later. He was like, oh, fuck me. Look at this. So that was bullshit. I hated that.
Yeah.
The double crosser, double crossing, and then dying the way he died. Saw that coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else? Super tropey, super easy, super just.
Well, I mean, like the
rapist.
The
dying
rapist.
the way,
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up.
I think just.
I mean, the corporation being evil.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was a pretty he couldn't have just been the bankroll. Like, you know what I liked about one of the things that I liked about Inception was Ken Watanabe's character is very upfront about what he wants from the team.
Yeah.
He's like, my competition is about to become a monopoly, and this can't happen. You have to fuck his brain up to the point that he breaks up his own company because we can't have that. He will be a superpower in the energy field, and we can't have that.
Right.
I can't have that. You can't have that. He's super upfront about it, right? His motivations are clear.
Yeah.
There's no weirdness about it. And then he says, and Dom's like, if you double cross me, like, that's it. I'm going to step off the plane. I'm going to go to jail for life. So, like, I need to trust you.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, you do this for me. You step off that plane. I make one phone call. You're good to go. And then whether you want to believe that it happened or it didn't happen, I'm not here to make that debate. It did happen. I believe that it did happen. I'm one of the optimistic people.
I want to believe
that it did happen. He does make the phone call. He gets reunited with his family. You get a happy ending, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that every movie has to be a happy ending, obviously. But what I am saying is, like, you have to make these characters' motivations clear. And if their motivations aren't clear, then you have to do it in a way that's like, it's clever that, like the Japanese dude in this movie, which I keep forgetting his fucking name.
His name is Tanaka.
He's really good in like everything that he's done.
Yeah. He's been in tons of movies.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's even good in this with the limited amount of material that he's given.
Yeah, he brings something to it.
His motivations are clear too. His insurance company has already covered the $50 million that he was supposed to be covered for that, right? So then he's like, now you guys go back in there and steal it. And that's $100 million, dog. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Or $200 million. I'm sorry. $50 million was their cut. $200 million is insured. That's already enough. That's good enough.
Yeah.
Why do we need anything else? That's good enough motivation. $200 million insured, untraceable money. You get $50 million cut, and you can cut it however you want. And what do? There's $50 million for me, $50 million for you, $50 million for you, and then fuck the rest of them. We'll just give them like $500,000.
Yeah.
I love that. I loved that.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, that's what people would do.
Yeah.
You got your team, and you got these randos. You got to give them like $250,000.
Hired
like,
work.
'em. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So, like, make their motivations clear. Okay, if the motivations aren't clear and you want to hint at the fact that there's something else going on, well, then do that. But then, like, just the way that they do it in this is just like, yeah, he has 2 army generals in his house, and that's how we're supposed to know that, like, there's more to it than that. By the way, why is he even involved? If they need a sample of a zombie, then just go get it.
Sure. Yeah, people have been in and out all the time.
All the time. They could just go to the Coyote and go, you know this place, right? Get that dude. Mm-hmm. Get that fucking... The way that they capture the queen, they could have done that any time that they wanted to.
They could have done it like Lost World, Jurassic Park. Just come in with Humvees.
Little just roll
tracker
in there.
things.
Exactly. And just snatch
Clamp
one up,
them.
get the fuck out. Why do they need this farce? Because...
That's what gives us the movie.
Yeah. Oh, man. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
That's a plot hole. Anyway.
Plot hole, son.
I just understood what you're going for there. Plot hole, son. Won't you come? Okay. So we've said our piece, I feel.
I feel like I've exercised the demons.
With any mostly negative review on One Reel In, I like to end with a positive. You know mine already. It was that entire scene of the zombies in hibernation. I think that was a really smart, really cool, really tense scene within this movie. And if the rest of it was that as tense as that moment, or as fun as a lot of the other elements around this movie, or as good as the premise seemed to be, I think I'd be singing a different tune.
Yeah.
But what is your positive takeaway from this movie?
I think the most positive thing that I could probably take away from this is that I think, like I said before, the French dude, I think he did really well. I thought he was...
I think he's German.
Oh, is he German?
I think he's German.
Oh, yeah. You're right. He is German. I think that was a standout role for him. I think he did really well. I really sometimes you get these comic reliefs and you're just like, it's just not funny.
Yeah.
It's just too forced.
Especially in a Zack Snyder movie. He's terrible at comedy usually.
Oh, terrible.
But I feel like there were some moments there.
Yeah, he had some moments, and I liked him a lot. I think my biggest takeaway from this movie, and I think you'll agree with this, Dave Bautista. Mm-hmm. He is proven to be leading man caliber.
Yeah.
I think that he does enough that he should be... I mean, he's an older guy now, so it kind of sucks that he didn't crack into this like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. But as far as like wrestlers turned actors, I can safely say that I think he's the best to ever do it so far. I think he's better than The Rock. Sorry, we did drink your tequila. We didn't mention that, but we did drink your tequila. Terramana. It was really good.
Terramana's good. Yeah.
It was delicious. As an actor, I mean, we could do another podcast about Dwayne The Rock Johnson. True. I would say that I think as far as wrestlers turned actors are concerned, that Batista is a legitimate actor. And he takes his roles very seriously, and he does varied roles. And then when you slot him into what he should be good at, which is, you know, an ex-mercenary army guy, he's got the look, he's got the attitude. He does it well. Yeah. He did it well enough that, like, I would love to see him. I mean, he's probably got, I'd say, I don't know, maybe 5-8 years of movies like this left in him before he has to, like, transition to, like, you know, Schwarzenegger roles, like the older, muscular guy where you're like, why is he still doing this? I think legitimately he still looks good enough to do like 5 more years of this.
He himself has said he's backing away from Drax.
Right, because he just can't maintain the...
I mean, like, you have to have compassion for the guy.
You do,
Drax,
for sure.
Drax as a character, I mean... He's literally shirtless
the whole movie.
The entire time.
Never even gets a shirt. Like, at least there's a scene where a character's wearing a shirt. There is a moment in the first movie where he has a chance to wear a shirt and he goes, ugh, and he throws it. So they're like, oh, he's never going to wear a shirt.
No.
So, yeah, you have to have... And Batista spent his entire career wearing briefs.
Right.
He had to work out like 8 hours a day. That's all he ever did. So
he's like, I'm kind of done with this.
And I respect. So, like, now he can kind of slim down a little bit and just stay in shape, but do movies like My Spy and Stuber and stuff like that. If he just gets a well-written movie, I just like Batista a lot. I mean, I was a fan of him as a wrestler. I always liked him as a wrestler. So when I seen him transition to these roles, I'm like, this dude's legit.
Yeah.
He's taking it seriously. He gives a fuck about it. He's not just doing these action movies. And like you could throw Cena a little bit of credit. He's done some weirder movies. He's been self-deprecating and stuff, and I appreciate that. But Batista, the movies that he's chosen or that he's been able to get, not barring Dune. I'm hoping that he does.
Yeah, we'll
really
see how
well
Dune
in
goes. Yeah,
but he looks legit in Dune.
Mm-hmm.
I wish he had an hour's worth of material for Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I thought. Remember the little mini movies?
Yeah, the
before
shorts.
movies?
Yep.
Oh, he was incredible in
Yeah.
his.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing I take away from this is like he turned down a role in Suicide Squad to be the lead in this.
In the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide
Like
Squad.
the Coyote.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good choice. I think that the Suicide Squad will probably crush at the box office, and it's probably going to be better than this movie.
Yeah.
Because James Gunn is helming it.
So James Gunn, also writer of the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Right.
Yeah.
And since these paths are crossing again, hopefully, maybe the sequel to this, Army of the Dead 2, maybe James Gunn reunion. I don't know. But I think, for all intents and purposes, it was a good choice for Batista to turn down a cameo in that movie to be the lead in this, to prove to people once and for all that he's not just a character actor or a bit player or the big guy in the movie.
Right.
He can rock a movie. You can just hang your hat on Batista's going to be able to keep this together.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think he just needs to keep. I guess he should focus on trying to be a leading man while he has the time.
Yeah.
And then focus on those side roles that he's gotten in these prestige films. Interesting roles.
Yeah.
That would be my advice as an agent.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm excited to see what Batista does next because I think he has the thing to be a leading man.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see him get a script with cojones that can really take him over the top at least once, Even
the bullshit emotional scenes that he was supposed to have where you're like, oh, this is so forced and just so poorly done. Even in those scenes, you're like, well, I believe Batista.
Yeah.
I believe what he's feeling.
Yeah.
I believe him as a heartbroken dad who tried but didn't have the emotional intelligence to deal with having killed his mother or his wife and having to still raise his daughter in this world. I believe him as that guy.
I think it's really rare to find a big physical presence that also can play with heart.
Yeah.
And I feel like he can.
Yeah.
In a more quiet and kind of understated way that I think is really unique to him. I don't feel like The Rock has that.
Either he doesn't have it or
we haven't seen
he's
it.
He's never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because The Rock is just so happy with being the smiling, charismatic guy.
Yeah.
That he's just like, this will give me $100 million.
He almost has too much charisma.
Yes.
I
would say, and this is going off a little bit, but I would say that that's one of Will Smith's fatal flaws. Will Smith has
too much sauce.
Too much sauce.
Yeah.
He does.
There's just too much sauce.
Sometimes he's in roles and you're just like,
this is Will Smith.
I just wish that he was just doing more Will Smithy stuff because I don't believe him as this guy.
Yeah. Well, I think that is what Batista doesn't have. I think he can fit roles well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I think we said our piece.
Warm up the fire. Yeah, I think so.
I think we only have one last thing left to do, which is give us a review.
Yeah.
How many bottle caps are we giving it today, Marco?
Army of the Dead. I would give it. Because as a film, the way that it looks, I think looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun-looking movie. There's fun moments. It's just all the nitty-gritty that just brings it down. I got to give it a 2.5. I had 2.5 out of 6. I have to. There's enough positive that keeps it from just, just getting dunked on completely, but there's just not enough.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. It was a 2.5 out of 6 bottle caps. I guess out of 6 reels.
Yeah, 6 reels. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I feel like visually there are moments where it is stunning. I think Zack Snyder continues to be a very a visual genius. I will go as far as to say, but that only goes so far when you're watching 2.5 hours of a film of any kind.
Yeah.
I think he really needs to either work on his writing or get people who know how to write.
Just transition to just being a director.
Yeah.
He's not a good writer-director. He is a good director.
Yeah, and I think that proof is in the pudding. If you look at his filmography, all of the movies that he's written, they're not as good. They're not as good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that would be my advice, again, as a Hollywood expert.
Yeah.
Would be to focus more.
Yeah, I don't even know
on
why
the
you're
directing.
here right now. I mean, all these.
I have to take a call,
I get it.
so we got to wrap this up.
Okay, let's do it. Let's wrap it up. I get it. You're on call. I mean, there's a lot of people blowing your phone up. I get it.
This has been the One Reel In podcast. Tune in for more One Reel In episodes. We are going to try to maybe possibly potentially get back into the more Oscar baity movies that we planned on getting into originally. Since I guess the pressure's off of us covering all of the Oscar worthy movies of last year, we're going to maybe focus more on just, classics, if you will, both modern and old. And maybe throw in an Army of the Dead here and there just to, have a little bit more fun, hopefully.
Yeah.
Anyway, we appreciate you listening. Please like, subscribe, share everywhere podcasts are bought and sold.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we got it?
I think we got it, Obi.
Well, if he thinks we got it, we got it.
Do our Doug Marcotta?